With us now is the author of the new book, First Class Fatherhood, Alec Lance, here with his take on this. Alec, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it as always. And we want to kind of dive in, as we heard from the father of the suspect here, sort of about the role of maybe family and all of this. Again, a tragic situation. Let me show you this Washington Post coverage when it started. Essentially, they had this headline out about the suspected UVA shooter's troubled childhood. If we've got it, we can show everyone. Okay, thank you. Who is Christopher Darnell Jones Jr., the suspected UVA gunman? And in the article, it reads, when he was 5, his parents divorced and his father left, a loss that he called one of the most traumatic things that happened to me in my life. So again, just sort of talking about the family dynamic, obviously not an excuse, but Alec, just your top line thoughts when you look at the coverage of this all.
Yeah, my first thoughts are just my prayers go out to the families of the victims. Unfortunately, on First Class Fatherhood, I've interviewed so many dads that have had to bury their kids. There's no greater tragedy for a parent to have to endure. So my prayers and thoughts are with those families. But let's face it, we got a fatherless crisis going on in this country. You guys know I talk about this all the time. And we are filling up the prison systems in this country with young men that grew up with no father in the home. And this guy is going to find himself surrounded by a bunch of people in prison that have a similar story to him. His father was disconnected from him. He says it was the most devastating thing that happened in his life. And those are the crucial years. This kid was 5 years old. Father left the home. Doesn't make any excuses. And it's not to say that all kids that grow up without a father are going to end up in prison. But 85% of the youths that are currently sitting in prison come from fatherless homes. And if you want to destroy a nation, you want to destabilize a nation, you destroy the family unit. And the family unit has been decimated in this country, and it's wreaking havoc all across our land.
I'll get back to that, but I want to talk about the father because he spoke out. And typically, I've covered stories like this, and typically a family member will not speak on camera. They're going to do everything they can to stay back. He did not. We do have another soundbite again from Christopher Darnell Jones's dad. Here's that. Okay, we don't have that. Great. All right, but the point is this: how important of a role does a father play in the home? There will be time to look at this situation and find out. By the way, we don't have a motive right now. The police haven't released anything like that. But there is a lot of talk about the suspect's background. Talk to me about that and really what the father role plays in the home, especially growing up as a young man.
Yeah, it's crucial, Sean. And, you know, we always hear about the guns when these things happen. But the fact is, homeowners in this country that own guns have not increased much over the last 50 years. But what has increased? The homes that have no fathers in them have almost tripled. They're at 27%, whereas in 1950 we were only at 9%. Wow. So we lead the world in fatherless households, and it's really having a devastating effect. And I'll say this, it's a call to dads that are out there that are estranged from their kids. I'll liken it to the parable of the prodigal son. The dads that are home doing what they're supposed to do, you don't get no pat on the back. You're doing what you're supposed to do. But these dads that are estranged from their kids, if you know a dad, get in touch with them. Today's the day. I don't care how long it's been. Get in touch with your kids, because just like that, our whole society will rejoice when those dads return because they were once lost and now they have found. Get back involved in your kids' lives. We need you.
Yeah, and just to be very clear, this is no sympathy segment for this gunman, by the way, this suspected gunman. There is still a lot to learn in this segment there, but is there more to learn in a broader scale? Alec Lance joining us live with that. We'd appreciate also his book there, his expertise on fathers in the home. We do appreciate that. Thank you, Alec.
Thank you, Sean.
Okay. Well, Elon Musk not only